go ahead and share screen with you again, and we're going to pop into Handshake. Now, a lot of you are probably sitting there going, Garth, man, we're in Handshake all the doggone time. Um, why are you spending time on Handshake? We know how Handshake works. Well, do you? So my question is going to be, as you look at Handshake, are you using all the tools on Handshake that are available to you? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sign in as a student. Looks like I'm already at. So this should look much like your student file. You'll see that you have jobs, you have events, you have Q&A, and you have students up at the top. And then you have different segments here in terms of jobs, employers, community, career paths, all that kind of stuff. If you're with us yesterday, I asked you to identify your priorities. I asked you to identify where you wanted to work industry-wise, location-wise, job-wise, all of that kind of stuff. And so you can use Handshake in a couple of different ways here. Let's pick on employers first. And we kind of started that yesterday, but let's go into that a little deeper today. So the idea is I'm on Handshake, I click on employers, and all of a sudden up pops a filter on the left and the different choices of employers I follow on the right, and a way to discover a lot more employers that are in Handshake. There are something like 90,000 employers plus in Handshake. About any city of any state around the country that you're looking for an opportunity, I bet you a company or companies have an account in Handshake. And so one of the things that you might want to do is start using Handshake not only for just the jobs portal, who's posting, but also for an identification and search portal of where are the companies that fit my priorities, my location priority, my industry priority, that kind of stuff. And so what we can do is use the search over here, and let's just start out really easy. And let's just type in the words entry level engineer and see what pops up there. All right. Now, Garth's got to pay attention to what he's doing because we're looking at employers, not jobs. So that would be a good one for jobs. So let's get that out of there and go again. We're looking for employers. So if we had an employer in mind, right? So let's say I know I was talking to somebody today and they wanted to look at Lockheed Martin. So we're going to type in Lockheed Martin there, and it pops in, and there's Lockheed Martin. All right. So we're going to highlight Lockheed Martin, and we're going to see a lot of different information that you may or may not know about Lockheed Martin and that Handshake had for you. By the way, I'm in my student account. I'm not in an administrator account. All of you can do this, right? So here's Lockheed Martin, headquartered in Bethesda, Maryland. They're in the aerospace industry. They're a very large company with 25,000 more employees. And you can see I'm following them. That's a real key. One of the things that you can do with Handshake is you can follow employers. There's what it looks like when I'm not following. Here's what it looks like when I am following. So I can follow those employers, and what that means is every time that Lockheed Martin posts something on Handshake, they post a job, they register for a career fair, they post an event, they do something, somebody submits a review on Lockheed Martin. Depending on how I have my Handshake account set up, I am emailed or text information regarding that. And I quickly know that Lockheed Martin has a new hot job, or Lockheed Martin has signed up for a career fair of choice, or Lockheed Martin has done this, right? Then I can also see one of the things that Handshake allows students to do is review Lockheed Martin. So very similar to like Glassdoor or one of those other outside portals that we can look and see what people think about a company within Handshake. You're invited to participate and review companies that you have worked at in the past. And so students have said that Lockheed Martin is large. Well, that's not a surprise to us. Lockheed is a large company. They're mission driven. Their managers are good mentors. That's something to know as we look at our first job opportunity. We want to get some good mentors along the way. They have a flexible work environment. We're all flexing these days, but let's say you want to pursue grad school early out, or you have a significant other, or you want to do something where you're at work later in the day rather than earlier in the day. They have a flexible work environment, and they have all kinds of networking opportunities available. Looks like Lockheed has filled their website on Handshake with videos and things like that. We're going to skip it today, but if I was trying to do due diligence and research on Handshake, on Lockheed Martin, I might use Handshake to find out some of that information. Here's some basic information about Lockheed here that we can read about. We can see more if you want to. Again, they're in the aerospace aeronauticals. Here's an employee perspective on things with Sarah Oatzen, who worked as a project panel planning control analyst. And she is a Florida Southern grad of 2018. We can see what Nicole Policia, who is in the Engineering Leadership Development Program, said. She's in aerospace engineering for Virginia Tech. So we can see what people have said about things. Here's their website. Here's all their social media links. Currently, they don't have any jobs on Handshake, but again, if we were following them, if they were to put up a job, we would be the first to know about that. Here's a public staff list. So if we want to contact somebody at Lockheed Martin, here's Kelsey Massey. We can click on that and we could message her or email her based on the information. Here's some basic facts about Lockheed Martin. And then as we scroll down even further, here's some questions and answers from people that have been there and worked there before. And one of my favorite things is the students who've worked there. There's 3,432 students who have submitted information about their experience at Lockheed Martin. They have their hands raised that say, hey, I'll give you some information about Lockheed Martin. You can just click on that button to say see all. And there's a lot to look through there. So let's just look at the Michigan State only folks. So it delves down and just looks at the Michigan State only folks. Here's James Meadows, who's an alumni, electrical engineer. Looks like he worked at GE and Boeing as well. Here's Antonio, graduated in 19, electrical engineer. Here's a computer scientist, that kind of stuff. We can look at their school years, people that have graduated, people that are still at school. We can look at them by majors. Let's say I only want to talk to the mechanical engineer in the group. So I click on mechanical engineering, and there's Musam Patel, graduated just in May, mechanical engineer. And so if we wanted to message Musam, we could message him about, or her, about professional experience, about any recommendations that they may have, about their reviews and Q&A. We could do a lot of different things right within this portal. So you can get a lot of information right through the Handshake portal about the possibilities of what you might want to do. And I don't think a number of you are utilizing this as much as you could. And again, one of the things that we can do is we back out of this and get out of Lockheed Martin and go back to the clear the filter. Let's do that. And let's do the filter one more time. Oh, actually, let's go back here. And then we'll go back to employers. Sorry about that. And again, instead of looking by employer, let's look at location. A number of you I've been talking to these days are interested in Denver, Colorado. So there's Denver, Colorado. We'll look within anything 50 miles of Denver, Colorado. And let's say we want to work in internet and software. We'll make it really easy. And so we'll click on there. We could have added an industry wanted to, but we're just going to click on that. And so here we go in alphabetical order in terms of the companies that are in and around Denver, Colorado. You can see small and medium-sized employers. So one of the things that often happens at Michigan State is only the largest employers come to our career fair. Only the largest employers actively post positions at Michigan State. But if you want to do a deep dive into Denver and look at opportunities for internet and software, you can utilize this. Since there's so many, let's cut down and say, hey, I only want to commute 15 miles. And so it'll cut down to the 277 employers which are in 15 miles of Denver, Colorado. Here's a simple solution. Here's Ocello. Here's ACES. Here's add-ons. And so we go on and on with that. Let's see if we can find somebody that, okay, here's Artemis. They have one review. They're on J Street, wherever that is in Denver. They have 10 to 50 employees. So we'll click on Artemis. And just like with Lockheed Martin, it gives us some lowdowns of things. It gives us a website. This time it gives us an email, the link to the email. Again, no jobs at Artemis, but there were no jobs posted at Lockheed Martin either. Here's some students that have worked there in the past. They don't give us a public staff list, but they give us enough information to go around in terms of, does Artemis fit our goals and our priorities in terms of a job? And at least we have their website. And so we can look and say, maybe they have some jobs on their website, or will give us a lead on how to connect with Artemis. We could also take that out and utilize a tool like LinkedIn and find out if there's other fellow Spartans and things at Artemis. They also have one review. Looks like a real estate sales intern. Probably not something for us. I don't think Nia Burnley is going to be of much help for us. So we're probably going to jump out of that. So we'll go back to handshake. So that's just a simple way to look at an employers. And so you can play around and figure out employers by industry, by location, by name of company, and find out some new leads and new opportunities that way. We can also look at the people that are posting jobs. And this is probably where you spent most of your time. You've probably looked at opportunities that are out there that fit your qualifications as a candidate. But are you looking at the selections where you can fit by location? So let's say I want something, let's make it easy, that's in the Detroit area. And so now we'll find opportunities and organizations that are hiring in and around the Detroit area that might fit my qualifications and things. I might look for a full-time job. I might want for a part-time. I might want to go, let's go to the filters and segments out. We're all looking for full time. We're all looking for a job. We want paid roles only. That's for sure. So we're going to click on that. Suggested job roles. We'll just stay with the theme of a software developer or engineer. So we'll click on that. And we have 54 jobs in the greater Detroit area that have come up there that fit that scale. So we can start looking at those jobs and seeing what those jobs are. We can apply in externally if we want, or we could skip that and move on to the next job. So there's a lot of different ways that you can utilize that. Again, 54 jobs in all based on what we've said, and it's listed in terms of relevance. So the system is smart enough to know what fits us and what doesn't fit us. All right. So that's Handshake in a nutshell. And my guess is that many of you are on Handshake and doing things on Handshake, but are you utilizing LinkedIn? So let's go back to LinkedIn. See, I've already loaded up Denver. That was on my mind. Here's my profile on LinkedIn. Again, if you want to do more on LinkedIn, you're not really on LinkedIn, we have a great webinar on our website that'll take you steps 1, 2, 3, 4 on LinkedIn, how to create a profile, how to search on LinkedIn, that kind of stuff, and create your best profile out there. But today, we're just going to look at jobs. So up at the top there's jobs. All right. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at, and I'm going to use the search that I've already started with. So engineering, and I'm going to put in Denver, Colorado, and just it knew that was my last search, so it did that. So it found 8,311 results. Woo, that's a lot of results in Denver, Colorado. Maybe you may want to do by only the ones that were posted in the past week, just the hottest stuff out there. So we're going to dip down. There's 2,422. Well, experience level. Let's just look. We're entry level, or so we're going to do that, and that jumps down to 618. There's job types. We want full time, so we're going to click on that, and it takes us down to 565. And maybe we want to work remote. Who knows? So let's click on that. It's going to want me to do it. For some reason, that's not doing that. Maybe there's none advertised in the remote. I'm not sure. But anyways, it starts scrolling down and seeing the different opportunities that are available on LinkedIn. So you can start looking at those things and finding out opportunities that fit you. And again, we're looking at locationally where we want to do, but we could do it by industry sector. We could do it a number of different ways, especially if we click on and bring in all the different filters available, right? So LinkedIn is another way that we can find opportunities. Again, what I don't want you to do is waste your time finding all the opportunities out there, because as you can see, there's a ton. There's a ton out there. What you have to do is work with your priorities that we talked about yesterday. Where do you want to work locationally? What do you want to do company image wise? Where do you want to work in terms of job content? All of that stuff comes into play and comes into an important part of the process here. And so you need to think about those things and identify where you really want to laser focus your search. A lot of you have come up with the idea, I wasn't successful, and so I have to broaden my search. No, 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 no. In full-time job search, you have to do laser focus. So in helping with the laser focus, here's 2 other areas that might be really, really helpful in that. Let's say, again, I want to work in the Detroit area. Did you know there's a student chapter of the Engineering Society of Detroit? Engineering Society of Detroit is all about networking and identifying opportunities for young engineers to employ and grow in the greater Metro Detroit area. So here's their website. They have different programs. They have different events. They have all kinds of different things that they do, including but not limited to 2 job fairs that they host per year. So on April 26th, they're going to have a career fair for folks Students are invited to attend for opportunities in the greater Detroit area. For members, it's free of charge. If you want to become a member of the student chapter of the Engineering Society of Detroit, it's $1. That's all it is. So email me at that email address that I gave you if you'd like to be a member of the Engineering Society of Detroit, and I'll connect you with the leadership of that student organization, and they will get you packed away. But they also have on their website a job search board. So what you can do as well as a member of it, and I'm not signed in as my member, I should have done that. Apologize for that. But if I was signed in as a member, then I would be able to go up on the job bank board. See, there's a service right there for members, but it won't let me do it because I'm not signed in my membership right now. But they have a job search board just for members. Guess what? That is highlighted with jobs in the greater Detroit area. So if you're looking for greater Detroit, you should double down on what you're doing with Handshake or whatever else and use the Engineering Society of Detroit portal. One other area that I want you to think about, West Michigan. Some of you want to locate into West Michigan, Grand Rapids, Muskegon, Zeeland, lots of different areas, or St. Joe's, a lot of different areas around there. There's a group called Hello West Michigan. This group is all about bringing in and keeping young professional talent in the area. That's you. So you can reach out to them. They have different events, different things that they do as well to help out with that. If you want to work there, they've got all kinds. They have a featured job list. They have all kinds of different things. They have career coaching. You just connect up with them. It is free of charge, and they will help you identify and connect with employers in the greater West Michigan area. Almost every city of note has something like this. Just by Googling and finding, you can find things like this. These are two of the most popular that I wanted to showcase to you today, but depending on where you want to go, whether it be Austin, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Seattle, Washington, Chicago, Illinois, or Grand Rapids, Detroit, whatever, they're probably going to have a specific resource to help you as well. So the message today is to supplement what you're doing. If you're only using Handshake, if you're only using LinkedIn, if you're only using Indeed, if you're only using Glassdoor, if you're supplement it with something that can be regionally based or industry based. And there's all kinds of different things that you can find industry based, especially if you go on Twitter. Twitter has all kinds of job search that you can do as well. And so one of the things that we do to try to help you all out is we actually host a Twitter page as well. It's twitter.com/MSU engineer. And on that Twitter page, all we do every day, all day is post hot jobs. So here's a full-time opportunity at Intel in Shanghai in China. Here's an internship in Arkmont, New York for IBM. Here's an entry-level position in Rahway, New Jersey for Merck and Company. Here's an entry-level position at Otis Elevator in Florence, South Carolina. Here's an entry-level position at General Motors for information technologies. And so every day we try to post up to 10 positions on there. Many of them are from Handshake, others are from other sources. It's just one idea to keep you all aware of the hottest jobs that we're seeing as we put our eyes on Handshake as well. Can you find other opportunities? Yes, I've shown you how you can do that. But some of the best and most encouraged positions to apply for, we find in companies that call us and say, hey, I'm not getting the candidates that I want, or can you make sure that you identify students in this area? We try to put those up on Twitter as well. All over a different place, there's an entry-level position for a financial analyst in Merritt Island, Florida. By the way, they're having nice weather, I hear, these days. So you might want to apply for that. So all kinds of different opportunities to consider that way. All right, we are coming up at the end of the half hour. As always, I've took a little bit more time than I was supposed to. But before we end this portion of our back-to-back seminars today, I'm going to look at the Q&A, see if we have any questions to answer. I'll look at the chat as well. And so here's a question from Reed. He's saying, regarding the Engineering Society of Detroit, if we are recent grads, will we still be able to join as a student member, or would it be a different process? Reed, what I'm going to tell you is if you graduated in May, August, or December of 2020, and you still want to be a member of the Engineering Society of Detroit, email me directly. I will plead your case to the folks of the Engineering Society of Detroit. I have a pretty good record with them, by the way, and they'll probably be more than happy to let you in at a very reduced rate. At the end of the day, the rate's only $99, so it's a very affordable rate, even for full-time professional engineers. But they will probably give you a crash rate of probably $25 or something like that as an early out, first year out candidate to be a part of their group. They also have a lot of great networking opportunities as well. So I would encourage you to check that out as I would Hello West Michigan or any other groups that are regionally or industry based that are out there. Let me just look at the chat here, see if there's anything on there. Reed, you're going to follow up afterwards. That's great. Anything for the good of the order, or anything that I didn't cover that you were wondering about, anything that I did cover that didn't make sense, anything that you want more information on, now is the time to ask me those questions or share that out as best we can. I'm going to look at the Q&A again. I'm going to look at the chat again. And again, I'm going to pull up connecting with me. So you have my LinkedIn profile, you have my email address, you have my phone number, and the walk-in hours available again on Wednesdays. That's tonight, folks, from 7 to 8:30, and then Fridays normally from 11 to 12:30. That's the only one that I'm not going to honor this week because we have our seminar on Friday with the employers that I'll be prepping for. So I won't be available for walk-ins on Friday from 11 to 12:30, or you can schedule an appointment at the link provided through the Calendly system. Checking again, any more questions? Matthew asked, do you know of any biomedical healthcare industry organizations that may be helpful for students? That's always a tough one, Matt. Biomedical healthcare is always a really difficult one for us. I would give you three thoughts here. Number one, back in the fall, if you remember, we had a major related fair that we really focused in on some biomedical type options. And so you can actually go back into Handshake, look at expired fairs and find some of those companies. So I would dig in on those companies. I would also use biomedical and healthcare in the search process, both on Handshake as well as LinkedIn and other things. Coming up in the spring, we have one of our engineering expos is dedicated to the biomedical healthcare area. So companies that come from that industry sector will be attending that engineering expo. Those are not up yet. Those will be on Handshake. Those are still populating with employers. It's going to be around the middle of February. I can't remember the exact date right now. It's been in the emails that have been our newsletter's been sending to you. So I would encourage you to check that. And then finally, on biomedical and healthcare, what I would also do, Matt, is I would reach out to folks that are working in that area and see if you can get any insights and information on them. I'm also going to give you some breaking news. We have been in the process of planning and now creating a special career fair that will be held on March 9th for engineering students at Michigan State, University of Wisconsin, and University of Minnesota. So our three great engineering schools will come together to host a career fair on the Handshake platform. Again, that will be March 9th. It'll be held from 2 p.m. till 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And University of Minnesota, one of the reasons we targeted them is they are rich with biomedical and healthcare opportunities. And so we believe they're going to bring a number of companies in that industry sector to us, as much as we're going to bring automotive and manufacturing to them based on we're rich in that. Final question I'm going to answer before we take a brief break and then flip over to the next portion of the seminar. Somebody asked, if you see a company but they haven't posted any position, is it recommended to directly reach out using their email posted on Handshake? You betcha. All's fair in love and war. This is love. And so reach out to them, let them know that you have an interest. This is where a cover letter comes in important. So not just send your resume and say, hey, it's me, but you actually write them a cover letter and you say, hey, I'd found some information from you and was interested to know if you'll be hiring entry levels this next year. Here's why I'm interested in you. Here's some key skills on why you should be interested in me. let's get together and talk. Basic cover letter format tells them why you're writing them, why you're a good fit for them, why they're a good fit for you, and ask for an action, a meeting, an interview, an opportunity to connect. But absolutely reach out to any and all employers. Don't wait for them to post a position. Reach out and find out what they're doing and double down with connections that you might have, which we'll talk about in the next half hour.